quit playing yourself.
Hey, yo, quit playing.
Hey.
Quit playing yourself.
RadioUTD.
Opinions expressed on Radio UTD are those of the individual expressing them and are not necessarily those of the University Administration, the Board of Regents of the University of Texas System, or of the operating board of the radio station.
I'm Tristan.
I'm Cameron.
I'm James.
I'm Liam.
And we're Native Fox. You're listening to Radio UTD.
And welcome back to the Mercury Morning News. My name is Averion, and for today, it looks like I'll be your only host. I hope everyone's having a fantastic morning as we get into it. Today, it is March 24th, 2024, and we have a lot of things to talk about. First and foremost, did anyone at UTD notice that apparently Governor Greg Abbott made a visit to our campus? I didn't. Well, I did, pretty last minute. But he came to announce the new Texas Semiconductor Committee following his new bill he issued, I believe, last year in June of 2023 for the Texas Semiconductors Innovation Consortium, which is a part of the Texas CHIPS Act. This whole new bill is to help Texas stay at the front line for providing semiconductors to Texas and the nation. They're pretty useful items to have in mind. These are basically how electronic devices process and store and retrieve information. They are essential and cheap for modern technology like refrigerators, phones, computers, cars, and weapons of destruction. Of course, they're not just limited to that. Last year, I talked to the head of the Center for Harsh Environment Semiconductors and Systems. And last year, UTD was working on radiation detectors for the Department of Homeland Security and was evaluating the efficiency of gallium nitride chips for aerospace applications. So yeah, some interesting stuff there. Greg Abbott, when he came, this wasn't a public announcement to the university, just to some officials. When he did come, he announced that 2 university members would be joining, although one is technically no longer employed here, I suppose. They were the 4th president of UTD. This is this is UTD President Emeritus David Daniel. He's a pretty big name if you know about him. He basically initiated $600 million worth of construction. You can thank probably, I believe, the resident halls for his construction in SSA. And of course, he was a big part of expanding research at UTD, making us one of the best in the U.S., and added nearly 40 new degree programs. He served as an engineer and consultant for natural disasters like Hurricane Katrina, and right now serves on a lot of nonprofit boards we don't have time to mention, even with an hour of talk. Additionally, Dr. Manuel will be added to that. He's the professor I talked to who's the head of the Center for Harsh Environment, Center for Harsh Environment Semiconductors and Systems. He believes this will be a great opportunity for new students going into that field. Now, I want to give a quick warning, you might have heard it. I'm unfortunately a little sick. My voice is a little groggy. I got mucus everywhere. I'm dying a little bit. But I'll try to make this as entertaining as I can as you're listening in on Radio UTD's The Mercury Morning News. But pardon me if I need to step to the side and hack off my brain. I'm trying my best here. Governor Greg Abbott made his visit March 19th. There were a lot of people there. You could see President Benson was there. Texas A&M System Chancellor John Sharp was there. And I believe the University of Texas Systems Chancellor James Milliken was there. There were a bunch of other people there too. I believe Toyota, Dell, and Samsung were there. And those are some of the people who will also be working on the project. So it's big news, big things for Texas, a lot of change. It seems like Plano will kind of be the heart and Collin County, this area will be the heart and soul of developing new semiconductor chips, maybe Texas version of Silicon Valley. As far as we know, our President Emeritus David Daniel will be leading this entire endeavor, meaning technically UTD is at the head of it all, even though people like UT Austin and A&M are represented in the mix. So that's a lot of good stuff. There's a whole report on the governor's website if you want to read more about who specifically on it, or you could read our website article to see how our UTD people are affecting this new committee. We'll try and follow up with them for more information as we get into that. But speaking of UTD, if you visited recently, you might notice some new changes. Primarily, the pub is destroyed, smashed, eradicated. Nothing's left but the mural there. It happened pretty early in March 14th in the morning, and it just destroyed. It was awesome if you got to watch it. We have a bunch of drone pictures, everything on the website. It's really interesting. I actually used to like the pub a lot. Not because it was good food, because when I came in post-pandemic or during the pandemic to the university, it wasn't the best food, but for like your meal exchange, that was probably the best you were going to get. The mushroom Swiss burger was probably my favorite there. Don't get any, I guess you can't get any salads there anymore. But if you had been there, you would know not to get salads there. It's just dry. But I'm always going to remember the mushroom Swiss burger. I salute the patty melt, sorry. That was a good, delectable on campus. It was also a good place for just karaoke. It was a good place for playing games, pool, stuff like that. It was a good meeting place, you know. It's a shame they never brought the consoles back online. They had a bunch of PS4s and Xbox Ones just hanging from the ceiling so you could play on the TVs. Never brought those back, unfortunately. They were always there, taunting me. They couldn't never play them. But this is only, of course, part of the destruction yet to come as UTD is doing its whole renovation. By like fall 2026, we'll have like all the new stuff opened up. I think in 2025 spring, the pub, which is currently being replaced for a gaming center, will be established. Currently, we have the current esport location that's going to be moved onto the second floor of this new area, and there'll be kind of an eatery hangout space beneath that, more for people to actually play games, casually hang out, and then esports will be the floor above. Replacing where the esports team will be currently, I think they talked about this in a meeting. I can't remember if it was Buffalo Wild Wings or if it was Wingstop. I hope to God it's Wingstop, but if it's Buffalo Wild Wings, say whatever. It's a whole thing. I had some words like, why are you people are going to be eating that chicken with their hands, bring it into the gaming center, and they're like, no, we promise it'll be clean, it'll be efficient, whole 9 yards. So hopefully we'll get more on that. The Green Center is also going to be destroyed for the new student union. The current student union will stay and be there for the rest of the day, or the rest of the year, or however long. It just will be the old student union. I think it might get a new name. I'm not too sure. The new student union, though, will be very nice. We've talked about it on a former podcast episode. Really great stuff. Really excited. Yeah, it hurts that it's going to be here when it's here. But it's something to look forward to if you're looking to come to UTD. Excuse me, sorry. Which reminds me, I don't know if anyone was affected by the whole, I heard the new FAFSA was a problem. I know UTD extended their deadline for it, but like people behind FAFSA apparently weren't checking their emails, and people weren't getting information they needed, and it wasn't registering. It was a whole nightmare, apparently. It was a whole nightmare scenario. Really, really wild that you launch a new program and then you can't keep up with it. Hopefully, everything's fixed now, and I need to look into that more. I really want to know, like, what happened. How do you hype up a new scholarship program and then not follow through on it? I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll find out. Maybe I'll write an article on it. But before that, in a few seconds, we're going to get into our first report. Well, I'll be telling you in a much deeper voice without the music, all the latest news that the Mercury newspaper has published that you want to keep an eye on. I've already mentioned Governor Abbott, but we'll go into more official details as it was described, and talk about those. Let me get that prepped and ready so I'm not running behind again. Yeah. Sorry that I have to keep pausing between breaths. I don't know if it's allergies or I just got a really bad cold. I don't know what it is, man. I can't breathe. Nothing's working right. Tired. But hey, we're here. We're here for the Mercury Morning News every Sunday at 10 a.m. so we can hype it up. And here we go into the Mercury Morning News report. It's March 24th, 2024 at the University of Texas at Dallas. Good morning, I'm Andre Averion, your reporting host for this news segment of the Mercury Morning News. Governor Greg Abbott announced his new appointments to the Texas Semiconductor Innovation Consortium Executive Committee on March 19th at UTD, which will include UTD Material Science and Engineer Department Head and Professor Manuel Cordova Lopez and UTD President Emeritus David Daniel. Abbott was joined by Representative Greg Bonnet of District 24, House Speaker Dade Phelan, I can't say that, I'm sorry, and David Daniel himself at a news conference at noon at the Natural Science and Engineering Research Lab to announce the committee's inaugural members. Among local semiconductor leaders present, the University of Texas, Texas A&M, and UTD's own president were present at the events. Accuracy in Media, a conservative media watchdog, secretly filmed UTD employees February 15th in videos asking leading questions about diversity, equity, and inclusion practices, which were made illegal by Texas by the bill SB 17. Despite controversy around the video, university officials maintain that UTD is SB 17 compliant. Accuracy in Media's website that they use investigative journalism and aggressive activism to show the failings of public policy and bias in media. In recent months, the group went viral for the Columbia doxing truck, a car which traveled around the school's campus with screens displaying the names and faces of students who signed a statement supporting Hamas. In the February video, Accuracy in Media argued that UTD and other Texas colleges, such as the University of Houston, Texas A&M, UT Tyler, UNT Dallas, and Texas Tech, were following DEI practices. This has only been a recent change, and we're looking forward to more details. The demolishment of the pub's exterior structure began March 14th. Admin has said demolition of the pub and greed sitter will continue throughout the spring semester, with plans to construct a new student union in place of the Green Center and to build an expanded gaming center in the place of the pub. Vice President Student Affairs Gene Fish expects the gaming center to be open in spring 2025, while the new student union is expected to be open next year and fall of 2026, as long as the project continues to schedule. SR 2023-12 addresses what describes as a humanitarian crisis in Gaza due to the direct actions of IDF. The resolution, presented by the student government, supports release of Israel hostages in exchange for the permanent ceasefire and rejection of dehumanizing language against Palestinians, as well as disapproval of both anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, in which inquests President Benson officially recognized the suffering of students because of the ongoing atrocities, which follows up from politics that happened last semester. This has been the latest from the Mercury newspaper. Now back to our live podcast on Radio UTD, the Mercury Morning News, live every Sunday at 10 p.m. I hope you liked that reading. My voice cracked several times, and I couldn't read some words. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. More onto the student government side of things, like I mentioned and failed to... that massive pause. Oh my goodness, so embarrassing. So, more or less, the new resolution basically talks about all the different things that have happened in recent ongoings between the Israel-Palestine war, Gaza, Hamas, those who call it by another name. Nearly 1,000 UTD students and faculties supported the resolution, in addition to support from 20 student organizations including Jewish Voice for Peace, Deeds Not Words, SGP, the Period Project, and OSTEM, to have President Vincent officially recognize and apologize for his previous conversations and a letter he made last semester, pretty much condemning only one side of the situation. So most of this was done through an anonymous electronic vote, and the resolution has officially passed, which will now go directly to President Vincent, to his desk. So hopefully this will make more moves towards that. Specifically, it is to reject dehumanizing language against Palestinians, to condemn anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, and to support a release of Israel's hostages in exchange for permanent ceasefire, at least trying to support that. So that's what's going to happen in the new resolution. When it comes into effect really depends on when Benson reads it. So more on that is on our website. If you're curious for the numbers and statistics and specific quotes from both those of Israel and Jewish descent. Islamic and Jewish descent. I misspoke. I apologize. That's part of the thing. Also, additionally, you might have heard that there are people basically walking around campus asking lots of questions, like, what's happening? What's going on? And to kind of explain that, Accuracy in Media, like we mentioned earlier, is a conservative media watchdog. Their whole thing is to defend accuracy in media, as the name would imply. And they are currently accusing UTD for violating SB 17, which, for those who don't know, shut down all DAI processes as of January 1st. Basically, Accuracy in Media said that because we are keeping the life transition closet from the Galaxy Center, as we are basically breaking DEI rules started by SB 17. However, of course, our own campus has said that this is compliant to SB 17, and additionally, the vice president of ORCS, which replaced DEI as a separate entity, basically said that this isn't still no violation, and if needed, they can make modifications, but what Accuracy in Media has described does not meet those qualifications. So it's basically just one angry newspaper fighting a school, and we'll see where that leads from there. You can decide for yourself whether you think this is pretty valid or not, but who knows? Right now, we're just kind of waiting to see what happens next. But you know what is something that is worth talking about? Our chess team. They won the Southwestern tournament, or at least they won awards, which will make sure they qualify for the 2024 Texas Collegiate Super Finals this fall. And of course, our women's team was the top scoring women's team in the entire tournament, which is pretty cool. So if you're new here, you might know that chess is a big deal for us. It is the heart and soul. But it is a big deal. It's great that we're advancing. We're one of the best chess teams as far as I'm aware. Wonderful stuff. So we're advancing in those regards. I something about King's Cup I saw as well. I'm not too sure. Also, we're pretty much entered the end of our Division 3 championship with basketball. The men's basketball team made it to the NCAA Division 3 championship tournament, closing out on their second team with second round, and the women's team fell on their quarterfinals. But yeah, that's some big stuff. Right before ending off, please read more on our website or go to the UTD Athletic website. It is awesome. I used to write the sports section for UTD back when we didn't have one and back when people weren't going to these games. I like to say I helped start that up a little bit, but genuinely, really, some of our basketball games, you got to catch them next season. Some of the best you'll see. They know how to play. It's awesome. You can't really sit down at chess teams tournaments, I don't think, but for basketball, oh yeah, you got to go watch those. Those are fun. Get some friends, hang out, do some homework. If you're trying to enjoy the weather right now, I believe softball and baseball is going right now. Go watch those. Those are fun. There's not too many people there that bother you. If you just want to go study, hang out outside, that's a good time. It's a good pastime. Go support them. As a student, you get in for free, so just do it, bro. You will love it. I swear. Go support our teams. They did great stuff. And as we're looking towards that too, I think the best part about that is it probably just, there's so much heart in it. And it's like, just because they're Division 3, of course, I've talked about this countless times. We're going into Division 2 next season. I've talked about this countless times. Just because they're in Division 3 doesn't mean they're bad athletes. And by standard, they're pretty damn good athletes. Respectfully, end game. I didn't swear, I promise. Sorry, excuse me. My sickness, my allergies, whatever, are getting worse progressively. I'm starting to lose my voice. I'm not supposed to be talking this long, but hey, you know what? I'll do anything to make sure you guys get the news you want every Sunday at 10 a.m. So we can just hang out and talk about everything we need to talk about. More importantly, not more importantly, there's nothing more important than our sports team. That's the most important thing. Ignore all the news, I told you. Most important thing is the sports team. Excuse me. I will talk, since I am the only person that is currently on air. Let's talk about the X-Men 97. The new thing on Disney Plus. I've been waiting to talk about that. I'm going to talk about some movies and films real quick, just so we get our entertainment section kind of filled in. We don't actually have sections in the show. It just feels like we do. X-Men 97 is the best thing Marvel has put out since Endgame, and arguably, in some degree, is better than some of the stuff they put out before Endgame. Most of the stuff they put out before Endgame. It's such a good show. The animation, the storytelling, the voice acting for especially returning people, phenomenal. They really did everything they could. It's original, but it's also still reliant and follows the track record of like the classic comics. It's really brilliant. It's the right way to do a superhero adaptation, and it feeds enough nostalgia but adds so many new flavors in it too. How could you not like it? I love it. That was one of the few times I don't get super excited watching shows, even though I'm an X-Men fan, so I'm a little biased, but that was one of the few shows I got like stood up. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I don't know. I haven't seen a superhero film that made me feel that way in a long time, and including super stuff. If you watch Kung Fu Panda 4, it's a fun film. Visually, ooh, nice. Jack Black does great. Awkwafina's character, I think her name is Shin, doesn't feel like Awkwafina all the time, which is great. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It's a great film otherwise. I recommend watching it just to round it out. But unfortunately, I didn't like it that much, even though I'm recommending it. I guess if you like the original Kung Fu Panda movies and want something to follow up with nostalgia, and that's the film to watch. I will say, though, they should not make any more films after this. In my opinion, they're pretty much toast, you know? This is on their last leg. They reused a lot of stuff from the second and third movie. Their whole marketing gag was Tai Lung, and he shows up for like a minute, and he's just there to make quips. He has one awesome scene that like redeemed the story a little bit, but you know. Also really disappointing. Every Kung Fu Panda villain has been amazing, awesome in some degree. The first two, Tai Lung, I forgot who the peacock was. Those two had amazing character stories, characterization, and they really did a great job reflecting against Poe. Kai was a little less than that, but he was just awesome. The music, everything, great job. But then you head over to the Chameleon, and that was a little disappointing. That was a little upsetting, you know. That was the worst villain ever. Her whole reason for becoming a villain is not valid. She's like, I was small, and I'm like, well, you got Mantis. He's way smaller than you. Maybe she meant that like she felt small. Then I get that, I guess. But like, you know, no reason to be like a douchebag and like destroy half the world for it, or try to. Yeah, you should Kung Fu Panda 4 is a fun to watch. I'm trying to think of other films that came out recently. They're really awesome to watch. I know we got that. Dune 2. I haven't seen it yet, even though I love Dune and the books, especially mainly the books. We're going to be writing a review about that coming out next week. Not this week, next week. You should read that review, because the person writing it did the first Dune review, and she did a very good job with that. It was a good read. I'm really excited to see more about how Dune 2 unfolds. For those who don't know, if you're a local or anywhere in the world, I guess, Cinemark does these like Ticket Tuesday things where they take off like $50 for your ticket. So if you want cheaper tickets by like a margin, go on Tuesdays. And they're also like, no one shows up on Tuesdays relatively. Like Kung Fu Panda 4, when it came out, I watched it pretty early to its release. When me and my friends went to the theater, it was just the three of us, you know? It was completely empty up until the movie started. Then 3 other people walked in. That was it. 6 people in the whole theater room for a relatively new movie. It did really well in the box office. So, you know, maybe you should take a watch at it. Otherwise from that, go ahead and go watch, you should get the Ticket Tuesday things. There's other theaters that do Ticket Tuesday. There's one theater, I don't remember what it's called, it's an arcade as well. They do like, you get cheaper meals while you're there on Tuesdays. There's a lot of good deals. You just have to look on the right days. For those who don't know, I'm gonna just start spilling all the deals I know. You know, welcome to the coupon section. I would love to talk more about this. All the things you can save money on. Yep, that's right. Welcome to the desperate need of a student, of a UTD student. If you're willing to drive to the Piatas, it's in City Line. Every Wednesday, student discount deal goes up for the whole day. They have a student discount deal like every day, but like it goes all day on Wednesday. The line is long, so get there before rush hour dinner. But it's good. $8 for a large meal and a drink. That's what you need. That's some good stuff. Right now for a whole month, Wendy's is doing like $2 for a burger, $2 for a double stack burger, $1 for a single stack patty burger. That's pretty good. I think Wendy's is one of the better fast food chains. You know, if you can make that deal, go ahead and take it. I mean, you shouldn't eat fast food that much, but that's good. So that's just something to keep in mind, something to look forward to. Otherwise, I'd also recommend that at some point, you visit over, if you want pizza that's pretty cheap, right now at Domino's, whole week 50% off online orders. I'm just saying that's a pretty nice deal. I mean, it's Domino's. It's not what I would call like masterclass pizza, but excuse me. Yeah, I mean, like, if you should want some Domino's right now for the whole week, I think it's 50% off. So go ahead and take a look at that. It might be nice for you. And then what else is on deal right now? Oh, Wingstop. I talked about Wingstop earlier. Ooh, I love Wingstop. I like chicken. If you go to Wingstop, Mondays and Tuesdays, they have like 70% off wings or something. Sorry, 70%. God, no. 70 cents wings for boneless. So instead of $1 each, it's like 70 cents. If you want to save some money, there you go. Try the new like honey rub, whatever the hell it's called. honey mango rub. I don't know what it's called. It's good though. And then, what else has deals? I'm trying to remember around here. Oh, if you go to, this is a lovely place. It's called Monster Yogurt. They take Comic Card as a student discount. Go there. It's one of the best frozen yogurt places. It's the best frozen yogurt place around campus. I will die on that hill. It's pretty good. And they are, oh my god, what is the word? They are, I used to work at a store that specialized in this. What is it called? Oh my goodness, I'm brain farting so hard. It's when, I could just Google it. One sec. Anyway, while I'm looking at this, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I hope you guys are keeping away from the allergies, you know. It's getting bad. I had a whole layer of, excuse me. I had a whole layer of pollen on my windshield this morning. I'm like, I don't need this. Oh, kosher. That's what it's called. Kosher. The frozen yogurt there is also kosher, if you're interested in that. So yeah, and it's pretty good. I'll give you credit there. But yeah, anyway, going back to pollen. Yeah, it's pollen season, bro. Even though it's beautiful spring, all the plants are like deliciously green. Pollen, allergenics, it was a whole layer, you know. It was thick too. That was disgusting. Wiping that off my windshield. I'm like, oh, yeah. I could build a mini person with that much pollen. Oh man. Yeah, you might want to wear a mask just for the allergy season. Texas allergies they shouldn't be as bad as they are. Being honest, they really shouldn't be. But like, I this might just be me. I see people are really sensitive to it around here. It just gets people. It's also like, I think someone once told me something about like the elevation we're at for Texas, like in DFW, it's like lower, so pollen affects more. I don't know if that's true. That doesn't sound right. That's something to consider. Also keep a lookout because it is now spring, of course. Everyone knows it's mayfly season now, but it also means another bug will be showing up probably a little bit more. Cockroaches. Careful of those. We're a little bit before the mosquitoes show up, but hey, you know, keep those in mind. Cockroaches get in anywhere and everywhere. They're mostly predominant in fall, as most people will know, but they'll start showing up here and there, little babies. If you see one, you're usually fine, but if you see several, get them, kill them. In game, we don't condone violence, but you know. At the same time, mosquitoes will probably be showing up pretty soon, so stay away from big bodies of water and take care of yourself, you know. But that's basically on that section. Oh goodness gracious, I have another 30 minutes with all you lovely people. Thank you for sticking by if you've been listening this long. I know usually I can talk a lot. I don't sound like I'm graggling and dying, but you know, I'm trying my best here. Let's see, I already talked about X-Men 97. I could go on for an hour about that, but I won't like destroy your ears for that. In terms of news, we actually do have a lot more news. This newspaper is pretty thick. Also, whoever submitted the Student Art Showcase graphic, I just want to know I'm your biggest fan now. That thing is beautiful. But anyway, you should definitely read up more on our newspaper. Excuse me. On the website, there's a lot more. That's just really good to watch and listen to. The only thing is, of course, it's a pretty hard cover. You'll see it, the black font. That's an editorial, for those who don't know. We've had to make that distinction a few times now. It's not a news story. It's not an LNA story. It's an editorial. An editorial means the editors of a management group. Sorry. The editorial means the editorial team, which is part of management, basically talk and discuss something they unanimously agree on and think needs to be spoken to the campus of the university. Now, you can write a response to this, like letter to the editor, which you should do, or you can write an op-ed fighting against it. But these editorials are basically how the management team, specifically the editorial team, talks to the university as a whole. Now, of course, if you want to listen to the other side of the management team, which is outreach, just contact us through email. Our web editor's pretty much on there. Social media manager, she's always on social media. So you can find her that way. And then, of course, I'm on the podcast. You can just send comments on the chat. Or, of course, we could just talk about other stuff. Who knows? Or you can also just email me if you have anything you want to talk about, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of more of a chill day today. Weather was a little colder than I expected, and yeah, this is what we're getting to now. I'm talking about the weather. Yes, that's right. I've run out of so many things to say. We're talking about weather now. Goodness gracious. We do have a lot more stories to talk about. I'm trying to save them for next episode so they can talk more about it. We should have a full roster next time. But we shall see. Because I don't want them to come on and have nothing to talk about. If you want the immediate stories, visit our website. But till then, I guess we're just chit-chatting. I thought I'd talk a lot more about the other news stories, especially about Governor Abbott showing up out of the blue, no one knowing. I think part of that is they just didn't want protests, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know how you want to describe that. They just didn't want people protesting because people are not happy with Benson right now. And if they knew Benson would be there, or other political leaders, they'd probably speak up about it. That's kind of the way the world works on campus, unfortunately. They're a little sneaky with it sometimes. That's an important reason why they'll keep a lookout, or, if you're in the student media, you'll probably hear about it before everyone else does. Not because they tell us, but necessarily because, we don't stop bothering them. Yeah, unfortunately, the only part of the university that really talks with us about stories is the Bass Bass College, which is ATech, for those who don't know. They're the only ones who really talk to us about, hey, these are the stories you guys might want to be interested in covering. There are some other smaller ones that also do the same thing, but there's no other department or anything that's such that really reaches out to us. Comic Cupboard also reaches out to us sometimes. If you haven't donated the Comic Cupboard, you probably should. I know everyone's spring cleaning right now. I know I did spring cleaning yesterday. Goodness gracious. Maybe that's why I'm sick. Maybe it was just so much stuff we had to throw out. How much dust got in my face. No, I've been sick for a week now. And it's a big important part of helping donate to people in need. For those who might not know, whether it's Comets themselves or people in the local area, Collin County, which makes up every part of campus above SSB, every part of Collin County is pretty high for homelessness. For those who don't know, it's a pretty big epidemic. It's not as visible as Dallas or Dallas County. They're more on actual streets. Collin County does a thing where we like to push people into hotels or buildings that have been practically abandoned. And we're hey, you can't see them, they're not a problem, But after talking to some leaders who specialize in combating homelessness, that's pretty much the thing they've come to, is people kind of just get kicked out or hidden away to the general public. So it's a problem. Giving food to those people might at least help them find some help or service they need going forward. Additionally, a lot of Comets who come to UTD, I had one gentleman one time who was selling cookies because he couldn't afford rent. He gave most of his finances just to make it to UTD, and I don't think he fully realized what that meant beyond tuition. Finding housing here is expensive, especially if you're doing short-term rentals now. They're cracking down on those. For those who don't know, short-term rentals are any rental. It's about less than a year. The definition's kind of changing and being wonky now, but Collin County is changing the way short-term rentals defined. A lot of homeowners don't like the idea of Airbnb hosts and visitors all the time. So they're trying to combat that and change it for other appliances and other reasons. So that's something to keep an eye out. Airbnb and other, like Vrbo, I think, they're probably going to struggle a little bit more in this area just because so many counties are trying to get rid of it. So that's also a part of the thing. Like, there's a huge migration here. Everyone knows about the great migration from California and New York to Texas. But like everyone specifically, Collin County was number 4 in 2023 for counties migrated to. That's a wild thought. That our county, the people, like the cities we live in, most people from around the U.S. are coming here. Weird to think about. There's a lot of job opportunities, sure, but that makes the market a little bit more competitive for students who are local. So it's an interesting thing. It's something to keep out on. I'm currently working on a piece for that, and hopefully I'll get you something out so we can talk more about it. But it's definitely something. We're definitely working to try and see if it's specifically affecting students, how it will affect students, how students can get around it, things of that nature. I'm actually getting pretty close to the end of our lovely time talking. I'm sorry if it wasn't super filled with like excitement or action or everything else. But thank you for swinging by and staying with me the whole time. If you did, I appreciate it. Of course, you can read more on utdmercury.com if you want to read the newspaper. I highly encourage you go read AMP because we're coming up with something talking about some of our DJs, specifically Gavin and Mickey, wonderful people. Probably some of the funniest, friendliest people you'll ever meet at student media. So you could read those. I highly recommend it. You should also watch more on RadioUTD. Go to their website. You'll probably find a flyer somewhere on campus with all their shows. 2 of our former hosts were on there. This is an old one. This is not the recent one. Whoopsie. But go on RadioUTD and see. There's a lot of fun shows on there. And additionally, go check out UTD TV. They're working on a lot of projects right now. Right now, it might be filled with like with Mercury Morning News, but genuinely, go watch the other projects. There are some this semester, especially masterclass people who are working on film, videography. It's really inspiring to see them work, and it gives new hope for UTD TV. I'm really excited for that. For those who don't know, me and Gavin used to be on their D&D show. I love that. That was a great time. Please don't watch it. But you definitely should watch the other stuff on UTD TV. And give us a call over there. There's a lot of fun you can have anywhere on student media. And I'm not saying that because I live and breathe student media. It's genuinely a good time. And if you've, again, stayed this long, maybe you'll find it of interest to you. You can find anything and everything you need from student media. Now, unfortunately, we are closing pretty dang soon, in like less than a minute. But I do want to say thank you very much for joining our show. It means a lot just to have people viewing, clicking, experiencing Mercury Morning News. We appreciate it. And we don't get a lot of time to talk about that all the time, but thank you for watching, sticking by. We know people just got out of midterms. People are about to go in the finals in like a few weeks or months. In a month or a few weeks. But you guys got this. You guys are Comets. You came here for a reason. Everyone knows this is not an easy school, but you still made it, and you're still going, and we know you can do it. So we believe, and take care of yourself. I have been your host today, Andre Averion, a very sick boy, but thank you for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful, wonderful morning, and that this week will start the best for you at UTD. Take care. We're the Mercury Morning News live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Can't wait to see you next time, and goodbye. Mwah.
Hey, this is Henry from Surf Coast, and you're listening to Radio UTD.
Looking for a way to support a good cause while also having a good time? Join Delta Zeta on March 28th from 1 to 5 p.m. in the Science Courtyard for their Hot Dogs for Hearing event. This outdoor picnic will feature free hot dogs, lots of games, a chance to pie at Delta Zeta, and much more. All proceeds generated from this event will go to the American Society for Deaf Children, which is committed to empowering diverse families with deaf children by providing them with access to language-rich environments through mentoring, advocacy, resources, and collaborative networks. Join Delta Zeta for an afternoon of fun while they support a great cause.